Okay, y'all, let's pull back these curtains and get into the nitty gritty of how freight dispatching works. I see a lot of people talking about what freight dispatching is and how to become a freight dispatcher, but I don't really see a lot of people saying how it works. So let's talk about the dispatching game in its entirety. Basically, dispatching is pretty much the backbone of the logistics world, the trucking world. As a dispatcher, you're the matchmaker, connecting carriers with brokers who need to move their goods, basically. That's one of the parts that you are doing. Like, it's just ensuring that we are keeping the goods flowing smoothly, like we're getting freight from point A to point B, and we're helping independent owner operators, people, truck drivers who own their equipment. So basically, as dispatchers, we're going to be finding and booking loads for our carriers. We're going to be organizing their paperwork. We're going to be having communication with the broker so that the carriers or the drivers don't have to worry about being on the phone all the time. We're taking the ease away from them. We are initiators. We are people who don't give up once they feel like they are having a hard time. Those are the kind of people who we are, and that's what we're doing. We're making connections, finding different brokers to get our carrier signed up with, aka filling out a carrier packet. And that's the only thing carrier packet means. I don't know why you guys keep calling all these other things carrier packet. That's what a carrier packet is. Once you find a broker for your carrier to run loads for, and you sign your carrier up for that broker on their behalf, you're signing a carrier packet for your carrier. So let's get into how we actually find the right carrier. So as you guys know, a lot of my first clients I found, actually most of them I found online on Facebook and Craigslist. Those are my tops, Facebook and Craigslist. I wanted to make sure that I found a reliable carrier. This is the part that takes time, and this is the part that a lot of people give up on, but finding the right client, okay? A lot of you guys think that you gotta just take anybody, because first of all, finding clients for any business, it's not the easiest. Finding clients for any business is not the easiest. So when we're trying to find carriers, we want somebody who is reliable. Just as well as you want to be reliable, you want them to be reliable as well.
And I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, well, how can we make sure that they're going to be reliable? And the reality is you can't, but there's a couple of things that you should know and look out for. So I just wanted to share a couple of things with you that I noticed. And no, this is not set in stone, but just hear me out real quick.
Like, we can discuss factors like experience. A lot of those newer carriers who are first coming in the game, a lot of them sometimes they can fall off because they get a little bit nervous, but that's like, it's like a 50-50 thing. They can either fall off or they rely on you and lean on you pretty heavily for information. So you really got to be on your stuff. Okay. I do a training. If you want to sign up, there's the website. Also, know what kind of equipment you want to dispatch for, which we talk about in the training as well. You want to know if you want to dispatch for the big trucks, or if you only want to, if you're taking everybody, which means you're taking the smaller trucks as well, which a lot of those trucks, I tell you guys, that I don't personally deal with. I don't take on clients who are not a 53. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be the big trucks. I'm talking about drive-in, refrigerated trailer, flatbed, power only. Those are the only four. But you want to also think about what else you want to dispatch for, because some people, there are also box trucks, there's cargo vans. The reason why those may be a little harder for some, like myself, is because it's a bit more time consuming. I do have, though, a video about how to find loads for that kind of equipment. So check that out at your earliest convenience. Now let's talk about where you can find carriers. You can find them on most online platforms. They even have, I don't know how many of these are still active, because I'll be honest, I've looked them up and I see people on them, but I don't really use them. But they have forums just specifically for truckers, for truck drivers, a lot of which who own their own trucks. A lot of you guys, oh, where do I find this? Where do I find this? We're business owners. Do your Googles, do your research. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that you're gonna have to do as a dispatcher as well. So if you're already not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the things that we mean by take initiative. If you don't know something, try your best to go and find it out. But there are other platforms. I talk about Facebook. I talk about Instagram. Y'all, use these hashtags. This is one of the methods that I teach in my training. Use hashtags to find what you need to find. It's called search engine optimization. Also, let's talk about connecting with clients. You want to reach out to potential people by just inboxing them and introducing yourself and seeing if you can set up a time to speak with them, and then pitch your services, pitch your business with them. And then make sure that you understand that first conversation when you speak to a client as well. Make sure you understand that that's not where you're going to be hooking them and getting them to sign up for your dispatching service. That's not going to be, most of the time when that first interaction with a carrier, you're not going to go ahead and sign. You know what I'm saying? So understand that, because that first conversation is you understanding what it is like that they need, where it is that they want to go. Let's talk about rates. That's where we want to initiate that building a long-term relationship. My very first reliable client, we worked together for almost like about a year and a half, and he felt so comfortable with me on the phone that when he would come to my city where I live at right now, we would meet up for lunch. And granted, we've only done it twice, but I had the kind of connection with him, and I was new at this point when we first started. We grew together. I was very comfortable relying on him for questions. He was comfortable relying on me for my own personal expertise, and he would rely on me like, what are your thoughts on running in this area this week? You know what I mean? Like, these real life connections can be that's how you build strong and long-term relationships. But just be honest, that's how you really connect with your client. Find them something that could probably save them money. If they're spending 3% on factoring, tell them about Outgo, which I'll link that as well. If you get signed up with them, they'll go as low as 1%. Make sure you use the code as well to get signed up with them. And I'm going to leave those in the show notes or the description. And then once you get that carrier and you start to get the wheels turning, you want to keep the wheels turning. Basically, keep the ongoing communication. Like, don't be scared to reach out to these people because they're big business owners who own these trucks and they're busy. Basically, maintain constant contact with both the carriers and the drivers, because sometimes the carrier is a driver, it's the same person, but sometimes the carrier, they'll hire a driver. And I'll keep in contact with both. Basically, how I maintain constant contact with them is there's apps that you can use, like Telegram or something like that, but also, honestly, they just have my regular phone number. Like, I do have a business phone number at 855, but they have my personal cell phone number. It's just easier to keep track for me. That way, some people use Google Voice, but I keep in contact with them all the time. And then as far as people ask like what tools and stuff that I use, like any software or things like that, I don't personally use any dispatching software. You might sign on to a carrier who has a large fleet of trucks and they want you to use a dispatching software, but a lot of the times they come with that. The only software that I really use is DAT Load Board. And if you guys want to check it out, there's no more 30 days for free, but they do offer 10% off of each month for your first 12 months. You can also find that link in the show notes or description box, whatever you guys want to call it. But how I keep up with the loads that I book, I know this might be a little old school for some of you guys, but I write stuff down. I have a whiteboard that I have, and I literally just write the names and the information of my clients, and where they are and when the load drops off, and that's how I keep up to date. But when you're new and you're starting, you don't really have to worry about that because you probably only have like 1 or 2 trucks anyway, and that's very easy to not forget, especially when you're dealing with other people's money. I did create a video that talked about some of the tools that I use. Go and check that out when you can. But I do demos of the DAT load board as well, just so you guys can see what it's like. Hopefully that is beneficial to you. I'd like to just talk about my personal journey real quick, how I became a dispatcher. I used to be a truck driver and owner-operator. Some of you guys might not know this, but that's my personal backstory. What motivated me to become an independent freight dispatcher is that word of independence, first of all. I like to travel. I did enjoy driving around the country, and it's such a beautiful country, but I was like, I wanted to be able to stop and see some of those things. So since I became a dispatcher, I was able to do that, like, because this is one of those things where you can take your work with you. And yeah, my family and friends sometimes did get sick of me always with my phone in my face looking for loads for my next driver, but at the same time, like, you're not looking for loads for 20 hours straight, you know what I mean? You'll be able to put your phone down and enjoy your time with your family and still be there. When I was driving, I missed out on a lot of that. And when I was at my regular 9 to 5, I missed out on a lot of that. So that, knowing that I didn't want to continue to drive and be in that truck for 11 hours a day and be away from my family, that's the thing that motivated me personally. That was my why on why I wanted to become a dispatcher. It was some challenges that I faced though in the beginning, and I've shared this before. In the beginning, when I first started, I was posting my ads on Craigslist twice a week. And for those who ask, you do have to pay $5 to post on Craigslist. The challenges that I faced was feeling unprepared when people would actually call me back and be interested in my services, and feeling unprepared, like my voice would be shaky. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I hung up on some people. I wasn't answering when people were calling, and I knew they were calling from the Craigslist ad because it's just an abundance of calls. And a lot of the calls that I would get would be from the smaller trucks, like box trucks, cargo vans. Nothing against those owners, but you know, not my cup of tea. I had other stuff that I was trying to build, and I just didn't have time to be booking partial loads, finding and booking a bunch of partial loads, because that's what you have to do when you're booking those smaller trucks. I wanted to answer some questions. I wanted to do another FAQ video. So if you guys have any questions that you feel like you've been asking and they are not being answered, just go ahead and ask me in the comments below. If you need any free documents, downloads, or trainings, please check the links in the description box. My name is Carly, for those who don't know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.